We're rolling.
We're rolling.
Strong silent type tonight. We are filming in Puerto Platias, Puerto Rico. Banda playing in the background.
It's Sunday, so
Sunday family fun day on the beach. Shall we on with it?
we shall on.
Topic of the day,
Love.
amor, relationships.
Cohabitation.
In small spaces specifically. Remember when we first left to move into the bus and drive to Mexico, and everybody was horrified because it was 2012 and it was not the best of times politically. Oh, you're going to be beheaded twice. It's really dangerous. Don't go. And then quickly followed that with, oh my God, are you guys going to want to kill each other? You're going to live in 46 square feet for the next 2 years? And we're like, yeah, sounds awesome.
We haven't had enough time with each other over the years. We need more.
I was also traveling 25, 26 days a month. Time was hard to come by. Fast forward 7 years, and our spaces have grown ever so slightly. 2 years in the Sprinter, I don't know, 69 square feet or so. Now the boat is, larger. So how do you make it work?
Communication.
All credit goes to you.
No, it takes two to tango, baby.
Maybe that's just A to Z. How does it work? Communication. We talk
Yeah.
about everything early enough that it seems to prevent the bigger problems.
Yeah, when we met, I was a bit of a clam. I'd retreat into my shell, and you were the opposite. You were like, let's talk in depth about everything.
How are you feeling right now?
Everything we're feeling. Yeah, let's talk about our fears, our goals, everything. And I was like, whoa, this is scary. I've never done this before.
Remember when we read
Men
Are from Mars, Women Are from Venus?
Yes.
We each read it individually on our own time. It's like our own little mini book club.
We didn't live together yet.
And it was really awkward when we first started talking about it because we couldn't, neither of us could figure out how to articulate what we were trying to say because we had opposite roles.
Yeah.
So I was the chick and you were the guy.
And I would go to my cave, and then you would be like, don't go to your cave.
Let's talk about everything.
Talk. Yeah.
Every scenario they described, every scene that they drew out and how the woman would handle it, that was how I handled everything. And then how the man would handle it is exactly how you would handle it.
So weird, right?
I think we've crisscrossed roles a little bit back and forth, but I'm primarily the chick in the relationship for sure, emotionally.
The whole point is that what you hear when I talk and what I hear when you talk, if we both are aware of that, we're just going to understand
The message of the book still worked, right? We just had to go into it with role reversal, as opposed to the love languages. But we did the test with a group of friends.
Yeah, what's your love language?
It was really cool in a similar way, but at least this time we're totally on the same page.
Physical touch and quality time.
And so it's easy that we both are looking for the same thing because we naturally give the thing that we want and we don't have to worry about that.
So we live in a really small space and we're opposite.
We're polar opposites in almost every way.
And it works.
Surprisingly well.
Hanger's real. So
Hanger happens.
Hanger can always be a problem. That can always disrupt the balance.
Especially on the days we're having right now where we go to bed tired and then we get up at 2, 4 a.m. and it's stressful and it's bigger than we're comfortable with. And it's not dissimilar to back when we were driving the bus through Mexico and, you had a plan, but you're looking for a campground and the sun's going down. You break down in the middle of nowhere. Throw Hanger in the mix. It's not good.
Yeah, and I think also for me, we find ourselves in elements that we've never been in before. And my adrenaline skyrockets. If I operate at that level, all of a sudden I'm not the best me anymore.
You're still the best, Jay.
Oh, thanks, love. But that's when I can no longer answer easy questions. I feel a little confused and a little bit.
In those circumstances, it happens to all of us.
Yeah. And it comes out of nowhere a little bit. Wait, we were communicating 5 minutes ago just fine, and now you're like blubbering. I just hit exhaustion. It's kind of like Hanger. Remember when we went skydiving and then I had to take a nap immediately afterwards?
Basically passed out in the SUV. It was your idea to go skydiving. It was your birthday. And I was like, I'm not doing that. There's no way I'm getting in that plane. It's really fun, actually, once we did it. But
yeah. I would like to point out the boat that we saw today where he was yelling.
Oh my God.
So he's at the front, they're getting ready to anchor. She's at the helm, and he's yelling. We can hear
Yelling
from our
and
boat.
cursing. And
Nothing productive, only damaging words.
I can't believe that they're actually spending the rest of their day together.
You and I would never talk to each other like that.
No.
If anything, we'd be like, what just happened? We weren't on the same page.
We would debrief about what happened. Again, as part of communication, it's huge. Like, we would never talk to each other that way. And side note, if you're a sailor or you're about to start sailing with your significant other, or frankly anybody else that you're gonna live in close proximity with, even if it's crew, get a set of marriage savers. Bluetooth headsets. You're always in a place where there's a lot of wind, there's a lot of noise, and there's a lot of anxiety.
Yeah.
You never have to be in a place to yell at each other.
Yeah.
It's so nice to just whisper to you while something's going to hell. Just keeps everything from escalating, right? Like, it may be the single best purchase we made when we were outfitting this boat. Outside of communication, I'm gonna go with softness, or even just thoughtfulness. So anxiety happens, stressful moments happen. It's real easy for tension to start to boil into a full-on domestic dispute, argument, whatever. I feel like we typically handle arguments better than most. And at some point, it's just like, wow, this is not going to end well for anybody. This is not conducive.
Well, and we're
Either
both
anger,
really stubborn, but we both can also
so stubborn.
let that stubbornness go away.
Well, we're better at it now.
when
We
it's
used to not
time.
be. Like,
Yeah,
it used to take
yeah,
hours of
not like
talking
weeks.
through our feelings after. We also had a really hard, fast rule early on, not going to sleep mad or angry.
It was more like, all right, we said everything, we did everything, we're clear.
One of my realizations back then was, instead of waiting until this argument's over and we have to spend the next 8 hours putting Humpty Dumpty back together again, what am I trying to win? My stubbornness would kick in and I would have to win the conversation. I think a lot of people do that.
I remember that.
I just remember at some point starting to think, I win the battle, I lose the war. We don't even remember what we're arguing about. Isn't the right answer to just let it go and to calm down and to do whatever it's going to take to get back to the normal, happy state and carry on, right?
What it comes down to for me, when you're like, should we move on, is, have you said everything you need to say? Are you holding on to anything more? Have I said everything I need to say? And I don't want it to pop back up at 3 in the morning.
That's the worst. When you're like 3 days later and somebody still has
And you're
something to get
still
off
mad,
their
but
chest
you
because
didn't
they're still
know
mad
it.
about it.
Here comes some birds. Lots of birds.
Like the birds. That's way more enjoyable than the jet ski that just came by the other direction.
Yeah, but he's with his daughter. He's like
I know, she's pretty
jet skiing his daughter.
Bye, guys.
Wow.
So with the communication and the thoughtfulness is also just pure honesty, right? Like, we are
Yes. Yep.
100% raw and honest when something comes up. The second one of us starts to feel anything,
Yeah.
we go to the other one with that topic right away.
There have been times where I've been like, that's trivial, I'm just gonna let that slide. But it doesn't just slide. If
Usually,
I felt
yeah.
it triggered something, and it doesn't just go away. If I just say, hey, Bri, that didn't feel good,
Or I need this from you, or I'd really love it if you did this.
or vice versa, I'm like, Bri, I'm really sorry. And you're like, no, it didn't really affect me. And I'm like, I'm carrying it that I
Gotta let that go.
said that. Yeah, and so finally, if I know that you're good, then I can be like, all right, Jen, forgive yourself. Yeah.
So I also know a lot of people are going to ask about alone time, how people that, live the van life or sail together, like where they get their alone time and their quiet time.
Yeah.
I don't really need any.
I think we need it.
Yeah. I don't feel like
We're pretty mellow
people believe
people.
that.
We spend a lot of time, I'll sit and stare at the view.
I'll sit and stare at you.
You'll be on the computer, researching something, writing a blog, playing with photos.
I feel like we get personal time
In the same
space. Seems to work for us.
Yeah.
I think Karma probably needs a little more alone time,
Yeah,
but I don't know how to
she
give it to
closes
her.
her eyes and she's alone.
23
That's like
hours a day. So what else makes this crazy madness that we call an awesome relationship work?
Lots of kissing,
Romance doesn't hurt.
lots of touch. Anytime that I want to touch you, I touch you.
Thanks for the
And anytime you want to touch me, you touch me, but you try to keep it appropriate.
Well, there's rules of engagement.
Yeah, I think being naked and being half naked is really positive for me. I love seeing our bodies together. You know, like when we were on our snowboarding trip, as soon as we got back to the van, turned the heat on, you know, we're naked or we're half naked. I don't know, there's something about that that makes me feel really connected to you.
It certainly doesn't hurt that we're spending such a huge percentage of every day outside in nature, in the sun, and personal happiness goes a long way towards our shared happiness.
Yeah.
We know about ourselves that we are way happier half naked in the sun than we are trying to stay warm from snow.
What you just said, say that again, because that is so key. Personal happiness.
Personal happiness goes a long way towards happiness as a couple.
That
right?
is so
Personal
true.
confidence goes a long way towards confidence as a couple. When we first started, so many years ago, we were both train wrecks. Neither of us had personal confidence, knew what we wanted, were good at communicating, or any of these things.
So we were hot for each other.
We tried to say we weren't going to have a relationship, and it happened anyway, because we just couldn't make it not. But overall, as we did the hard work as a couple, huge props to you. This has not all been rainbows and butterflies, despite how I know you love the rainbows and butterflies. A couple weeks into our dating, I was like, hey, come over and help me re-side the house. And then you move in and we're living in construction zone. And I didn't realize until we moved into the Sprinter a few years ago that the only places we ever lived that were not complete disaster zones were vehicles. That would not work for most people. Wouldn't work. We made a little nest or a little protected space within whatever thing we're renovating or working on, but that ain't easy. It's not easy on a relationship, and it's certainly not easy to come home to after a normal job, start working another job, which is what we did every
so far
time.
Away. It's hard to remember.
But as we moved away from that and we started moving closer to living on the beaches of Baja, being where we want to be every day, this got easier, just like happiness got easier, right? I mean, those are pretty tightly entwined things, at least for us.
All right, wrapping it up. It's time to go.
That's a wrap. Episode 3 of Sundowners with Jen Brun
The dangers.
and Karma.